The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Lock and load. It's time to load up on some intellectual ammunition with Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. It doesn't matter if you learn to shoot with Daniel Boone or you're brand new. You're welcome here. This is the original national talk show about guns, and Tom Gresham is your guide through the maze of ballistics and politics. So grab your phone and call in right now, 866-825-5486, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you. Tom Gresham here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. You can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Of course, on Twitter, we're at Gun Talk. We got a lot of things going on over there. Also, we're giving away one of the Trijicon ACOG, one of the coolest sights ever. Go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, and enter for a chance. Who knows? Somebody's going to win this thing at the end of the month. Could be you. So you got to enter, as they say, before you can win. Let's see. Glenn has been on hold for quite a while on line 3 out of Maryland. Glenn, thank you for your patience. Tell me about this story about this gun you sent in.
Okay, I bought a Tommy gun, auto ordnance Tommy gun off of Gunbroker, and when I got it, the trigger would not reset. I would fire it, have to go from fire back to safe, back to fire for it to reset, and obviously it wasn't working right, so I sent it back to Car Arms. That was the factory to send it back to. Right. They said they fixed it. They sent it back. Still had the same problem. So I sent it back again, and they fixed it. They replaced all the internals. And I'm not the original owner, but it has a lifetime warranty, which I think is pretty cool by the company to stand behind that product like that.
Well, what's actually even cooler, if you will, is that Carr did not make that gun originally. They bought the Auto Ordnance Company a few years ago. So my guess is that rifle was made before Carr bought it, and yet they're still honoring the warranty. That's what's amazing.
Yes, that's very, very good customer service. And I tell you what, they've got a loyal customer in me now, I can tell you that.
Carr's a good company. Let me ask you, this is the semi-auto version of the Thompson?
Yes, and it's one of the heaviest rifles I've ever held other than the Uzi. I mean, but it is, isn't it? It is a chunk. It is amazing. And I remember watching the Midway gun stories, and they said that the Tommy gun was completely over-engineered for its time, but I think it's just a great piece of equipment.
It is, and the fact that you can buy one right now, and it's semi-auto, so it's no NFA tax stamp, any of that. It's just very cool. We've done some things with auto ordnance, and you're right. It looks like a slim little gun. It looks like it shouldn't weigh much at all. You pick it up, it's like picking up a huge crowbar or something. It's so heavy.
I used to watch the combat reruns, and you have the guy running around with the Tommy gun making it look so effortless. But I tell you what, I can't imagine having to carry one of those in World War II with all that extra ammo. That ammo adds weight too. Yeah. I mean, that's just a lot of weight.
Combat TV show starring Vic Morrow.
Yeah. Great,
boy, that's
great
a
guy.
flashback for
Great
you. There
actor.
you go. Glenn, thank you for that report. We'll make sure that Carr knows that they've got a loyal fan there. I appreciate that. But yeah, a lot of these gun companies, in fact, most of the gun companies take care of people. It's kind of part of the culture, if you will, of gun companies to take care of people. I don't know. I could go into my armchair psychologist mode on that, but just let it go at that. Most gun companies will take care of you even after the warranty has run out. All right, got to tell you, bring in, this story is just boneheaded stupid is what it is. This is the nuttiest thing ever. Joining me to talk about this is the founder, the head of Knife Rights, Doug Ritter, my good friend. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Hi, Tom.
Well, this is just when you told me about this, I said, you have got to be kidding me. Knife Rights got turned down by M&ms because they said the word knife was not family friendly?
That's exactly right. I couldn't hardly believe it when they told us either. I was like, are you kidding? Are you serious? I mean, talk about outrageous. And
all right, how did this come about? What happened?
Well, we were working on a promotion. We were looking at having some small M&M packages with the Knife Rights logo on it, and it fit what we were trying to accomplish, so we placed an order, which anyone can do via their online process.
Right.
But spoke to the customer service guy, who was very, very helpful, and we placed an order for like 1,000 of these little packages.
Okay.
And 4 days later, they call back and say, no, the word knife is not family friendly. I mean, that's exactly what the customer service rep said. We're like, serious?
How did you keep
can't
from
be
laughing?
serious.
I mean, how did you keep from laughing, really?
It was hard.
It's well, you know, this is part of that political correct nonsense. Just for those who need to understand, Knife Rights is not a group that sells knives. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. But Knife Rights is, in essence, really a Second Amendment advocacy group that promotes the right to own knives, and fights. When you've got the Attorney General of New York who's arresting people for carrying a pocket knife and then coerces stores into giving voluntary contributions of big dollars. If you don't contribute, we will prosecute you. We will charge you with a crime. But it's completely voluntary. But that's the kind of thing that Knife Rights does. And then for them to come back and say, but the word knife?
I mean, they didn't even say, we don't like your politics.
Yeah.
They said the word knife is not family friendly. I mean, that's outrageous, as well as being intellectually dishonest.
It's moronic, is what it. Okay, so all right, they come back and they say, we're canceling the order. We're not going to sell you your M&ms. We're going to hold on to our M&ms. And you're going, really? Is that where we're going with this? So I gather you tried to get them to say something in writing, and they clammed up. They wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't. We asked for it in writing, and if, as many folks have been through this before, when they won't respond, you send them an email that lays out the conversations and asks them if there's any errors in our conversation to please let us know. And so the customer service rep's supervisor called us.
Okay.
And we said, oh, good, maybe we're making some headway.
Right.
Not so much. Similar conversation, same story. And again, we asked for confirmation in writing that they were canceling the order because the word knife is not family friendly.
Yeah, because you're thinking nobody's going to believe this.
Exactly. And then we get an email from them that basically says, gee, we're sorry you canceled your order.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that one.
Trying to disclaim all responsibility for the fact that it was not us. It was them. I mean, it's outrageous.
Okay, so and you have this on the Knife Rights website, kniferights.org, right?
Yep, it's right up there on the homepage. We would certainly invite anyone who thinks this is as outrageous and ridiculous and anti-Second Amendment as we do to let the company know.
And you got the link in the story you have, so people could click on that, and they could go to M&M and say, let them know what they think. And look, I know a lot of people already are saying, okay, I'm done. I personally, I'm a peanut. We kind of break them. Some people like the peanuts, some people like the plain. I'm a peanut M&M guy, but I'm done. That's it. I don't have to have those. I don't need them anyway, so there you go.
Exactly. Unfortunately, no more dark chocolate M&Ms for us, and no more Mars, Snickers, Milky Ways for the kids that come to the door on Halloween either.
Yeah, what a dumb thing for them to do. All they had to do is fill the order, not say a word, nothing happens. You guys give away some M&Ms, and in 2 days the event is over, and it's all, this is just typical.
And it started out as, okay, you're going to be stupid and not sell us any M&Ms because you don't like what we do. Right. All right. I mean, all of us in the Second Amendment community have dealt with those kind of knuckleheads before, and you just shrug your shoulders and you walk off.
Right.
But then, to try to disclaim responsibility, I mean, that's when they go over the line. It's like,
Sure.
no, we didn't really say that.
Yeah, you didn't cancel the order. They canceled it on you. And so, and for those who are saying, why are we saying Second Amendment? Knives are part of the Second Amendment. Knives are arms, and the right to have a knife, it falls under the Second Amendment just as the right to have a gun does. So in case people are not clear on that. And you can find out more about it at the Knife Rights website, kniferights.org. You've been doing some great work, Doug. You've got the preemption laws, knife preemption laws in several states passed now. 7
states so far, 17 legislative victories in 4.5 years. We're kicking butt.
You're rocking out there. And, I would invite people to get involved. And for Truth in Advertising, I am a board member of Knife Rights. I believe in it. I mean, when you got the idea and you asked me, I said, absolutely, I'm there. So I am absolutely on board. I would invite people to take a look at it. Look, thanks for sharing this goofy, stupid, unbelievable story with us. I cannot believe how dumb some major corporations can be on this thing.
Well, humanity never ceases to amaze me.
Isn't it the truth? All right, take care, Doug. I will see you a little bit further up the creek, man. Oh, can you believe it? M&ms. Their position is knives. No, not knives. I'm sorry. The word knife is not family friendly. No, I can't do it. I cannot say it without laughing. Okay, it's just dumb. Yeah, and I already sent them a note. Let them know what I think about it. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in there. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm still looking for some input on deer rifles, hunting rifles. What caliber would you suggest I get? I'm open to suggestions.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
You bet your life on your defense ammo. Get the proven performance of Nosler bullets in the new Nosler Defense Ammunition. Featuring the same technology as the famous AccuBond line. Polymer tipper hollow point, bonded performance handgun bullets for weight retention and barrier penetration. Available only in Nosler Defense Ammunition in 9mm, 40, and 45 caliber. Also available in 223 with a 64 grain bullet. Visit Nosler.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Everyone talks about heroes, people who do amazing things in extraordinary situations. Well, I'm no hero. I'm just a guy who wants to protect his family, to keep them safe the best I can. It's my duty as a husband, as a father, and I won't ever let them down.
Introducing the Carry On series from Taurus, the ultimate collection of concealed carry firearms designed for discreet, reliable personal protection. Visit TaurusUSA.com to learn more.
Carry on.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, with you, Tom Gresham. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in there. Let's go straight to the phones. Line 1, Frank's with us out of Amarillo, Texas. Hello, Frank. You're looking for a Marlin?
Yes, Tom. At one time, I had a Marlin Papoose, which, if you remember, it's the Model 70, and you could take the barrel off of it.
Yep, I have one.
It made a very nice little light package for camping with it or whatever. Right. And I put a Lyman Globe front sight on it, and I used a PEEP rear sight, which were non-standard, that didn't come with it. Mm-hmm. And with this combination, I could get 1-inch 50-yard groups regularly with that. And I was wishing that they would do the same thing with a bolt action, use the same semi-automatic barrel on the bolt action, and different barrels for different cartridges. Like you could use the 17 HM2 and maybe the 29 grain 22 long CB caps, and then you could use another barrel for the 60 grain Aquila type ammunition.
Right.
The sky would be the limit. I don't know. But you wouldn't have to buy another rifle for each one of these. You just buy another barrel.
The real problem with that is, and we're focusing on the front part of the equation, the barrel, but the problem is going to be with the bolt. Because each of those cartridges you're talking about have different velocities, different power, and the engineers talk in terms of bolt velocity, the speed of the bolt going back and forth when it reciprocates when you're firing. And if it goes too fast, like if you try to shoot a magnum out of it, it's going to beat the bolt to death. And if it goes too slow, then it won't feed accurately or reliably. And so it's not going to work. And so you really couldn't, with the same bolt, have a CB cap and then a 17 Mach 2 or some of those. They have to tune the bolt weight to each of those, and so that's why you basically in a 1022, if you really want to run, you just run long rifle in it, and they would have to almost make a different rifle for each one.
No, I'm talking about a bolt action version of the Papoose.
A bolt action. I'm sorry, I missed the whole bolt action aspect of it. Possibly. You get into head spacing issues, but that's on the rim. I'm trying to think where I like the idea.
Well, good.
I'm working my way around to it. I'm going, you could do this. No, I'm trying to figure out where the problems are, and I think if I'll actually start listening instead of talking, I will actually figure out that you're onto something here. So I think you are onto something here.
Well, I'm glad you saw that.
I tell you what I'll do. I will mention it to Marlin and also other folks who are making bolt-action rimfires and see if there's some possibility of switch-barrel rimfires.
Right. And another thing I'd like to see come back is that 5mm Rimfire Remington. That was another good one that they should have stuck with, I think.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good caliber. We had one of those for quite a while, and I liked it. I think somebody started making ammo for it recently. Maybe Aguila, that same company. So somebody's making it. But look, great idea. I'm going to pass that along when I talk to the Marlin folks and other people making bolt-action 22s. Cool concept. I like it. Let me drop down to Aaron on 4. We're going to pick up talking about takedown 22s. Here's another one. Hey, Aaron. Oh, Aaron dropped. I'm sorry. He wanted to know about a Ruger 1022. And so I was going to try to put the two of those together. Actually, where I was going to mention is to Frank, if you're looking for other takedown guns, and Marlin's not making that Papoose anymore, you might want to take a look at the Ruger 1022 takedown. It's very good. It is accurate. And Aaron, just a thought for you, you're looking for a scope to go on there and something that goes inside the bag. I would probably think about putting a Picatinny rail on the 1022. And then you can drop scopes on and off, and they are pretty darn repeatable as far as being sighted in. So if you wanted to pull the scope off, if the scope you're using won't fit in the bag, you could pop it off and pop it back on when you take it out. Besides, I just think it's pretty neat to put a Picatinny rail on a rifle anyway. Speaking of which, I just got the Ruger American Predator. Check it out. It's on their website. Comes with a Picatinny rail on this bolt-action rifle. It's got a number of different calibers. Not expensive at all. It's part of the Ruger American line. Very neat looking. A green synthetic stock. And with the Picatinny rail, it really works. It's very simple to run. Let's see. Do we still have Rex on 2? I believe we do in Texas. Hey, Rex.
We're going up to Alaska on vacation, and I want to take my Smith & Wesson 44 with me. I've heard that on American Airlines I can use the factory box the pistol came in, just put a lock on it, and that would pass the TSA?
Yeah, I should be able to if you have a hard plastic case, right?
Hard plastic case. And also, after a TSA checks it, could I put it in a checked bag?
Yes, you can. Here's the deal. Go to the airline's website. Each airline has its own regs, but generally speaking, you can have your locked handgun case inside another bag that is checked baggage. So that, but obviously you got to declare it when you get there, and they'll take a look at it and do all that deal. But then you put it back in, it's locked up, it goes inside of the other bag, and you can check it that way. Here's the thing. If I were to do that, my concern, and I'm paranoid about this stuff, is that handgun cases are small and easy for somebody to pick up. And we know that baggage handlers and other people at the airlines steal things out of bags. TSA says you can't lock the larger bag that your gun is in. So if you put a small gun box inside of a big suitcase, you can't lock the suitcase.
Okay.
Or you have to use TSA locks. What I probably would want to do is, a lot of suitcases have some kind of mechanical or a metal framework. If I would want to somehow use an aircraft cable lock, bicycle lock, something to attach the gun case, the hard case that my pistol was in, my revolver's in, to the inside of like it's a soft-sided suitcase, so that somebody couldn't just reach in and pull this pistol case out and walk off with it. I would want the two to be locked together so that they would need another lock or break another lock to take the gun case out of the bigger piece of luggage. I wouldn't want to just have it loose in there, because there are just way too many reports of stuff getting stolen, iPads, whatever, from checked baggage. And you're not allowed to lock the checked baggage. You can use a TSA lock, but that's a Mickey Mouse lock. That's silly. The other way to go would be to have a big, like a rifle case, put your handgun in there, put some other stuff in there and check that one. A lot harder for somebody to walk off surreptitiously with a rifle case. It kind of screams gun case. So if somebody wants to steal that, they're going to be up for that one. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about media bias. We call it a reporter in the act.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
I love it. I love it. People help me out so much. Michael, thank you so much for the email. We were talking about switch barrel or change barrel 22 Rimfire, and we had Frank had called in from Amarillo, Texas, saying he'd like to see something like that. And I'm thinking, boy, that would be cool. And then Michael writes me and says, hey, we already got that. This thing has been out for a few years. Sako's got one. So I go over to their website. Sure as heck. It's called the Sako. Some people say Sako, but it's Sako Quad Rifle. 4 interchangeable barrels. Let's see. What calibers do they have? The 17 Mach 2, the 17 long rifle, the 22 long rifle, that's 17 Mach 2, 22 long rifle, 17 HMR, and the 22 Magnum. All in the same rifle. Just switch barrels and magazines out. So if you have a hankering for something like that, check out Sako's Quad Rifle, the Rimfire version. That's pretty slick. All right, we talk a lot about media bias. And we all say, yeah, the media is biased, and sometimes they slant the news, or maybe they're not quite aware that they have a hidden bias. It just, sometimes give them the benefit of the doubt. And made the point a number of times that this is vitally important because public support is what drives legislation. PR drives public support, public opinion. And in my heart of hearts, I've always known that there's more to it than just maybe the media doesn't really know. I've actually always known that they're actually advocates. Well, let me bring in somebody who actually caught a reporter red-handed. Guy Smith, of course, has been on here many times before from Gun Facts. Guy, how are you?
I am just great, Tom. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, I got this email from you, and for those who don't know, gunfacts.info, it's .info, great source of information. So you're on this website, and I bet a lot of people don't even know about Help a Reporter Out website, where reporters can post a note and say, hey, does anybody help me out with this kind of story? That's where you got this info, right?
It is, and it's been an outfit that's been around for a number of years, and by and large, the stuff that comes through Haro is, very vanilla, honest reporters just looking for a little bit of help because they're not subject matter experts.
Right.
But boy, I was stunned down to my boots when I got a feed from Haro this week, and from the Arizona Republic came this reporter, Megan Finnerty, who was just flat out saying, I need help to help the gun control industry craft a better message that will affect the way politicians approach the subject of gun control.
So she was asking not for help with a story, but she was asking for help in furthering gun control and coming up with better messaging to persuade the public opinion to move legislation to pass more gun control to act against the rights of gun owners. She was absolutely putting herself in the role of activist now.
She did, and she did eventually turn it into a story that appeared on their website. But when you look at what the request was, it was absolutely naked. I mean, the opening paragraph said, I'm looking for thoughts, based on last Friday's shooting in Santa Barbara, about how we could craft a gun control message that might make a difference to politicians and to the national discourse. Later on in her request, she admits that she knows about the gun control messaging playbook that got leaked to the public last year, and she's saying this playbook is not working. We need something different, something that's new and fresh and will cut through the noise. And in all of it, she's just very specifically saying that the objective is to improve the odds of the gun control industry.
You might mention what the gun control playbook, the messaging playbook was, because we talked about it, but I bet a lot of people don't remember that.
Right. This was leaked last year, and it was a piece created by some K Street lobbyists, and it was titled Preventing Gun Violence Through Effective Messaging. And what it was it was trying to align everybody in the gun control industry behind some messages that this group thought was going to work. And one of the problems was that once their document got leaked and everyone knew how they were trying to spin the issue, the American public, quit buying into it, not like they were really buying into it before.
Right.
And so now that book has been in circulation for a couple of years and the gun control industry has made no progress, they're scrambling. They're trying to figure out what will work.
Well, you know what it is, and we talked about this too. They think, you know what it reminds me of? That caricature when you see somebody who doesn't speak another language or talk to somebody who speaks a different language, and you're thinking, if I just say it more loudly and speak more slowly, you'll understand me. They think that we're not buying into their gun control because they have not presented their message correctly.
Well, that sounds like the current administration who keeps saying it's not that our policies are wrong, it's just that we haven't explained it to the public correctly.
Well, what they're actually saying is, you're just too stupid to understand this, and we're going to dumb it down so that you can get it this time.
Well, it doesn't work that way. And what is surprising me is that the broad American audience is not buying into the old messaging or the new messaging or even the media manipulation, and activism that we've seen from the Arizona Republic. And by the way, just a quick suggestion to your listeners, if they're not doing anything better on Monday, call the 800 number at the Arizona Republic, ask to speak to the ombudsman, tell them that you read Megan Finnerty's request through Haro, and anyone who wants to see the full text can see it at the gunfacts.info blog. And call the omnibudsman and say, this is unacceptable behavior from a reporter. This shall not stand.
Did you end up talking with her or swapping messages with her at all?
No, I didn't. Once I see somebody, who's blatantly trying to rig a story, I don't even refer to them as journalists anymore. They are not worth having a conversation with.
They're gun control activists at that point.
They were. And anyway, we were saying, the public in large is not buying into any of this. I wanted to tell you about an interesting event recently. I was invited to speak at a panel at the University of California, Santa Cruz, which is not a conservative bastion by anyone's stretch of the imagination.
Guy, let me get you a hold. I got to hit a hard break here, and let me hit this thing, and then let me come back because I want to hear this story because you kind of teased it at an email to me. I'm thinking, I've got to hear what happens on this. Just don't go anywhere. I got to come back to this. When we come back, you're not going to believe this thing. I mean, it's the media, it's slanting, but it's also, is the public really buying this, or has the public gotten smart enough to look at what's really going on? We'll have that when we come back. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
The Ruger LC380 is the perfect pairing of the award-winning LC9 pistol and the popular .380 auto cartridge. The LC380 is the same size as the LC9, yet offers reduced recoil, making it Ruger's lightest recoiling personal protection pistol yet. It features a dovetailed high-visibility 3-dot sight system, 7-round magazine and finger grip extension floor plate, manual safety, and loaded chamber indicator. The Ruger LC380, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trijicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water-resistant and nitrogen-filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trijicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trijicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trijicon.
You already know Liberty safes are great values. Now they're offering an even sweeter deal for Gun Talk listeners. At LibertySafe.com, click on the Fat Boy safe and type in Tom. Liberty will give you up to $250 off your purchase. Protect the things you value most. LibertySafe.com, click the Fat Boy safe, promo code Tom, save up to $250. That's LibertySafe.com. LibertySafe.com.
Hi, this is Doug Koenig, professional shooter and winner of over 60 national and world championships. If you shoot an AR, you need to be running the new Sharps Reliabolt. This bolt is amazing. The Reliabolt was fired 7,500 consecutive times by an independent test facility, jam-free. If you need the peace of mind and safety of not worrying about a jam, then buy the Sharps Reliabolt. Sharps Reliabolt is available at srcarms.com and tell them Doug sent you.
A famous radio consultant once said he'd be off the air in a year. Whoops! Defending your Second Amendment rights since 1995 on over 150 radio stations nationwide. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, welcome back. We're talking with Guy Smith from Gun Facts. On the internet, it's gunfacts.info. And Guy, I just clicked on your blog, and I'm reading this article about media meddling, and you kind of document that whole story. I'd encourage people to do that. But you were starting to tell me about this panel that you were on. Where was this again?
It was at the University of California at Santa Cruz, and if anyone has ever been to Santa Cruz, you know that it's a very laid-back California coastal town and not a hotbed of conservatism by anyone's imagination. But I was invited to be on a public forum panel, and praise be to UCSC, because they have put on panels on very controversial issues, and they managed to keep a very adult discussion going at each one of these public forums. So I was there. On my left was Adam Winkler from UCLA Law School. He's the author of the book Gunfight, The Battle Over the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Is a smart fellow despite not being a strict constructionist. There was a local representative from the Brady campaign, and he was a symbol of how far the Brady campaign has fallen. I mean, he lost the audience every time he opened his mouth. Nice human being, but just, not a champion for the cause. But what was interesting was, to my right was this founding member of an outfit called the Liberal Gun Club. Now, I know for a fact that there used to be a group at the Daily Cost, which is the bastion of liberal thinking, that was called the Liberal Gun Owners. And I know that there are classic liberals and people of the progressive persuasion who are gun owners, and like this fellow who was with me that night, are very articulate spokespeople for the right to keep and bear arms. And what I noticed from the audience as everyone spoke on the panel was that nobody had a knee-jerk reaction about the efficacy of gun control. Everyone quickly recognized that suicides and criminality are the two big buckets that together make up 97% of all gun homicides, and they responded positively, not to things like we need to have this ban or that ban, but they responded very positively to things like how the three strikes law in California was what really drove down firearm homicides starting in 1993. And so it has occurred to me that there is actually this broad base of consensus that goes across conservative, liberal, and libertarian perspective in America, where we are all very much nowadays becoming united about the fact that people have a right to have guns, that the right to own guns is not the cause of the problem. And I would love to see traditional gun owners reaching out to outfits like the Liberal Gun Club and creating the liaisons and making sure that the public understands that even the lefties, in a lot of respects, respect our right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I've been saying for years we have to embrace groups like the Pink Pistols or other groups that might not be your natural ally, you think, except that if they are truly liberal, in terms of, if you're really liberal, you have to believe in gun rights. I mean, if you go by the strict definition of it. And so these groups bring a political capability that we don't have. And I that's great. As you're talking there, Guy, I'm thinking, after this killing spree out in Santa Barbara, where we had knifing and running over people and shooting people, and of course the typical gun control people pop up and they're going to call for gun control, I'm not seeing anybody in the public buying into that now. Are you?
I'm not. And what's interesting is that we have two case studies that are side by side, and I recently was working on a piece about this. Suicides, as we all know, make up the bulk of gun deaths in this country, 62%. And we now have, Mother Jones reporting and other sources talking about mass public shootings and how much mental health illness plays into those events as well. It is evolving that the central common denominator for most gun deaths in this country are based somehow in mental health issues. And one of the things I plan on exploring this year in my research is how many people in gangland culture, the criminal subclasses that make up most of that gun violence, how many of them may also have sociopathic mental health issues. Because if there is a large basis for that, if we can conclude that most gun members have some sort of low-grade or high-grade mental illness, then we have found the true common denominator across all different, all episodes of gun violence.
Exactly. All right, Guy, listen, I've got to run. It's a gunfacts.info for more information. They can download. You can get the whole thing you're doing. I mean, you represent a great source of information for people who want to be better informed and argue gun rights. I just thank you so much for what you do, man. All right, we'll be back in just a minute with your calls, 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. Check it out, gunfacts.info. It's that good.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
All right, just a few minutes from now, we're going to have Cam Edwards, host of Cam & Company, joining us. We'll be talking about, well, pretty much everything that has to do with guns and gun rights and politics and what's going on. Cam keeps on top of this probably as well as anybody in the business. He is a real great source in terms of where the attacks are coming from and what's going on. So you're going to want to check that out. This is not good. I just went to the Ruger website, found that this year, they change calibers each year. But this year, their number one, that's their single-shot light sporter, single-shot rifle is in .280. Man, I really like that rifle. I really, really like the Ruger number one. Let's go to line 3. Chuck's with us out of Crosby, Texas. Chuck, I'm flummoxed over here. I'm having so much fun looking at rifles. You got one to suggest?
Oh, I'm going to throw another one in there, Tom. When I was a young troop, I had a pair of Ruger M77s when they first came out in 6mm and 7 mag, and I loved them because ballistically, they were so flat shooting. And I had some friends some years later when that 6mm PPC cartridge was so popular with the bench rest people. And man, I've always been a real fan of 6mm. And with the 6mm Remington /244, you get just a little bit of a bump over the 243.
Yes,
and,
I like
and
the 6mm.
It's a sweet shooting cartridge. It really is.
I had a 6mm in that old Remington 788, which is an ugly rifle that shot great, very accurate. Now you're not going to believe what happened to that thing. A fellow I worked with asked me if he could borrow it for his son to use for the hunting season. I said, sure, that'd be fine. I mean, why not? Couldn't get it back from him after hunting season. Excuse after excuse. Finally, had him bring it back. He had cut the stock down on my loaner rifle for his son to use. Can you even imagine the gall?
Oh, my God.
I just shake your head.
Yeah. If you got a second, as retired military, this prisoner exchange thing really scares me. It's always been American policy that we never did that. And I honestly believe that Obama did this for 3 reasons. Number one, to poke Congress, because he knew that that he was supposed to get approval before releasing any prisoners from Guantanamo. Number 2, to poke the military, because for a career military, this puts us all in jeopardy. Now every terrorist, every malcontent out there knows that all of a sudden we'll do prisoner swaps. Number 3, this takes public attention off of other things, because they can thump their chest and claim they got this fella freed, one thing and another. So I to me this is a travesty. If you got a second,
let me weigh in on that for just a second, because I will tell you my thoughts. I think President Obama is, number one, an incredible amateur at what he does. I think people he surrounds himself with are amateurs. But more than that, I think he hates the military. I think the President of the United States hates the fact that we have the military. I think he hates people who are in the military individually. I think he hates the idea that we have to have force out there. I think he's doing and will continue to do everything he can to destroy or at least reduce our military capabilities. I think he is a kumbaya kind of guy where we all should just be able to get along, and if we could just talk. He is the vertical pronoun president. Listen to him every time he speaks. It's I. It's all about him. It's the imperial presidency. I think he uses the military as political pawns to get what he wants or to get himself out of whatever the trouble he's in at the moment. I think you're exactly right. Hey, coming up, Cam Edwards, host of Cam & Company.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.